EFF Leader Julius Malema has vowed to lead a march on the Constitutional Court every month until the Apex Court hands down its judgment on the Phala Phala case. The EFF took the Phala Phala matter to the highest court in the land in November of last year, and the party had wanted the court to rule whether Parliament had acted rationally when it had rejected the panel report, which stated President Cyril Ramaphosa had a case to answer when dollars were found at his farm in 2020. The EFF further accused the Constitutional Court of being captured by President Cyril Ramaphosa, as SABC News reporter Natasha Phiri reports.
And we've just concluded the business of the day, where members of the EFF handed over a memorandum to the director of the court, Ms. Zolega, demanding that the Phala Phala judgment be released. And one of the salient points, in the memorandum was that it somewhat creates an impression that 1 year after the EFF actually brought their plight to the Constitutional Court, there has not been any judgment yet. It somewhat gives the impression that the courts are captured, and this is what was reiterated here by the leader of the EFF, Mr. Julius Malema. But joining us now is the EFF chairperson in Gauteng, Nkululeko Dunga. Mr. Dunga, thank you so much for joining us. So you've basically in your memorandum said to the Constitutional Court that them delaying this judgment for over a year somewhat gives the impression that the judiciary is captured.
No, definitely. First of all, when justice is delayed, it's definitely denied. And it's denied to the masses of the people of South Africa because, in essence, there is prima facie evidence. And more than anything was the circumventing of the duties and functions of Parliament to execute them, and that is why we're here. And we 100% believe that the court in itself, along with the judiciary, to a certain extent, that it is captured in this instance, because why would they not want to actually give out the judgment? And we approached this court last year, more than 12 months ago, and we're still subjected to an element where there is no judgment that goes out. There can only be one conclusion, and that is to say that perhaps this court in itself is captured.
Now, the Chief Justice has said that the reason for the delay is that there's a backlog in the Constitutional Courts pertaining to judgments.
We speak of a dysfunctional state, when people need to be held to account, and we are told that there is a backlog. It's very simple. Write the judgment. It should not take you more than 12 months to formulate a judgment that was heard many months before. It speaks of incompetency more than anything. It speaks of mismanagement more than anything. And that is one of the reasons we have the firm belief that not only is it captured, but it's also dysfunctional at this point.
So I understand that for as long as there's a delay, the EFF in Gauteng will be coming here to march and to pickets every month.
Every month will be here until the judgment comes out. The Constitutional Court, in its incompetency, it would not be the first time where people picket continuously all the time. We have come numerous times to this particular court, and there are actually people who live here, by the way. They've been staying here for the past couple of years, waiting for a judgment. And the EFF will be no stranger to this court like we haven't already.
This march comes at a time where there's so many things that are happening across the country. I think first and foremost, let's just get your reaction on what's been taking place at the Madanga Commission. Of course, those allegations against Julius Malema. What do you have to say as the EFF?
Let the committees take its course. Let's hear what they have to say. Let's hear the reports that would have to come out. But in the essence, what we ask for, obviously, would be that let the recommendations speak to what has been heard and what has been tested, and let people be held to account where there has been wrongdoing.
And on an international front, we've seen what's been happening with the G20. Donald Trump says he intends to buy from the G20. South Africa is hitting back as well. As the EFF, what's your position?
Well, we have refused to be bullied by the American government. We refuse to be bullied by Donald Trump as the economic freedom fighters. And we're glad that there's some element of being inspired by the economic freedom fighters and being inspired by the commander-in-chief to actually take up that particular attitude.
And then lastly, before you run off, Duga, I don't know if you've seen, but the public protector has said that she'll investigate the president over claims of alleged violations over the Executive Code of Conduct.
Let's hear what she has to say. But I mean, you know yourself, when it comes to Cyril Ramaphosa, she's got a tendency to protect the guy. She's extremely in love with him. So there's very little confidence that would have on even the current public protector. But what we are asking for is that where there are investigations and resources are plowed towards an investigation that cost the state a lot of resources only to circumvent accountability would be extremely wrong. If she's genuine about an investigation and there are recommendations that are very clear in terms of what must be done to hold people to account, she should do exactly that.